If exercise changes you on a cellular level, the primal needs would be nutrition, hydration, and adequate sleep. Good afternoon, friends. Paul Christopher here at Gravity and Oxygen Fitness in beautiful and warm Boca Raton, Florida. And I'm here with my nutrition man, Mr. Dylan Foss.
What's up?
How are you, buddy?
Good. Can't complain.
All good. Have you heard of the saying, you are what you eat?
I have quite a few times.
Cool. And I think we're going to come up with quite a few more food-isms today, aren't we?
Yeah. You love
Absolutely.
isms.
Yep. Today's Turf Talk title, say that 3 times fast, is fueling for your next event. We are, as human beings, thermodynamic machines. Mm-hmm. So we have to put gas in the tank. It's the kind of quality gas or lack thereof that's going to affect your performance. Yeah. Now we have an event that we're all training for next week, right? What is that?
I'm excited for it. Mm-hmm. You're doing the Deca Fit. I'm doing the Deca Mile, and so are a bunch of other people. And we have a number of people here at the gym that are doing either Deca Strong, Deca Mile, or Deca Fit. So it's time to get ready.
For clarity, so the Deca Strong course is a 10-zone workout course, and I'm doing a 5K mixed in with that course, and he's doing a 1 mile run mixed in with that. So it's a blend of strength and cardiovascular capability, the need for stamina and endurance, and the only way we can successfully even complete this course is if we fuel ourselves the right way. And that requires preparation. What do you love to say about preparation?
So when you fail to prepare, you're more so preparing to fail, right? You're setting yourself up for a lackluster outing, as people would say in the sports world, right? You don't want to show up to that next event and not give it everything you have. You want to prepare to succeed and give your body the best chance to do so by giving it proper fuel or proper gas, like you said.
Well said. So here at a gym, a fitness facility, we do exercise. But many times people neglect the other component, which is nutrition. People think that they can offset their sins of food with great workouts. But we know that even the greatest workout can never defeat a poor diet. Once again, we're going to come back to the fact that you are a car and how are you treating the fuel into that car. We talk about if exercise changes you on a cellular level, the primal needs would be nutrition, hydration, and adequate sleep.
Yes.
Correct? So talk about the day of the big race. You and I are about 10 days away from a big event. How should we prepare the good gas for that event? So talk to me about the time structure with that.
Well, I'll talk from our preparation right now. We're 10 days out, and anywhere in that maybe 2 to 4 weeks, you can actually start to prepare for that event. It doesn't have to be the day of, the day before. It starts earlier than that, right? So in terms of basic knowledge, you need to know how much energy your body needs in order for those cells, with 8 hours of sleep, with proper hydration, and with good food in the system, how much of that food do you need in order for cellular replication to happen? That's our basal metabolic rate, right?
Very good. So to break down basal, let's just say basement. What's the basement? What's the minimum number of calories you need on a daily basis just to get by for life before you factor in normal activities of hobbies, exercise, and just going around, whether it's picking up your children or doing whatever. So you have your baseline, basal metabolic rate, plus what you expend on a exceptional basis after that.
Depending on what you do for work, right? Like, we're obviously fitness professionals, right? So we may expend a little more energy on a day-to-day basis than someone who might be an accountant that sits in an office on a computer and works with numbers, because they're not as mobile and basically physical in their day-to-day job. So that affects how much fuel they need in their car versus our car. Right?
Very good. So we're going to skip to the chase here. We're going to talk about, we're now within our 2 weeks of our big event. Let's talk about what we should be doing 2 to 4 weeks out and what we have here on display.
Okay, so first I want to talk about that basal metabolic rate is basically telling you what you need to take in, right? So with that, how much fuel, and if you're not willing to figure that out, then you can hire a prepared meal service to do that for you. And that is a great start for fueling for your next event, because it does take a lot of preparation, right? And it may take taking a whole Sunday to cook food so you have it for the week, cutting up vegetables and fruits and all these certain things, and that can be overwhelming for some people, especially if you don't know. So you can let someone else do the work for you, and you can try to get prepared meals. What we're doing is 2 weeks of prepared meals leading up to our Deca Fit challenge. So we're taking our own advice, right? And that's going to help us improve our times from our previous try at the DecaFit.
Right.
With that, you're also going, right, we're trying to do no processed foods, no alcohol. Might be the biggest processed sugar-ridden food out there, right? So that is also something big that you can take with you. Yeah, you cut out the glass of wine with dinner or the beer with, you know, a nice relaxing TV show at night. You realize that makes a big difference over the course of 2 weeks. 10
Right.
beers versus none is going to play a factor in the fuel, right?
You can affect your cellular level just by improving that quality, for sure. So our spectrum would be, you're super prepared, you spend an hour and a half on a Sunday, and you cut up your carbohydrates, your vegetables, you made your protein, whether it be fish or chicken, hard-boiled eggs. The other end is that you're absolutely an impulsive eater. You order out, you eat based upon pleasure of that day, and that would be the antithesis of being prepared for your body. And generally, when you eat impulsively, the quality goes down. So right there in the middle, like Dylan said, is getting prepared meals made for you. On average, they are good quality sources of your macros, and it takes away the time factor, as extra time is most people's barrier to success. Now, beyond just the actual food, let's talk about some other things.
Yeah, what we're made up mostly of water. All right, the best fuel you can give your body, water.
Source of life.
Source of life, right? Fountain of youth. It's right here. All right. So most people, especially in hot climate weathers, are dehydrated, and that is not going to help fuel your next event. You might be overeating because you're dehydrated. You might not be sleeping well because you're dehydrated. You might not be performing well and getting more tired in the middle of your workouts because you're dehydrated. And now you can't prepare by, you know, maybe doing half of the DecaFit because you're not even giving that your best shot, and now you're not training at your best capability, and now that doesn't actually roll over into your event. So I always say, in terms of water, if you take your weight in pounds, I want you to drink at least half of that in ounces of water per day.
Very good. So simple math. If I weigh 160 pounds, half of that is 80. I should be having at least 80 ounces of water per day at minimum. Leading up to the event. Should be doing it daily, but now if you're conscientious of your event, definitely get to that half of your body weight.
I would say more optimally, if you're 75-ish% water as a human, then 75% of your body weight in pounds and ounces. So 120 ounces per day for Paul would be a little better and more optimal for him.
Wow, I might be running to the bathroom even during this video, but that's okay though, because we're filtering our system with that beautiful source of life. Now, a nice segue liquid-wise, is talking about getting your electrolytes. So that way, there's one thing to be dehydrated, and there's also to have electrolyte imbalance, where you could cause cramping. The last thing you want to do is cramp during the middle of your event.
Yes.
So discuss that.
So obviously, DecaFit is a unique challenge, right? So we always say that most people who run long distances are burning more fat. Most people that are running for very short distances, sprints, they need more carbs, right? Well, what are we doing with DecaFit? A blend of absolutely everything. So when it comes down to your basic electrolytes, you have sodium and glucose and potassium, right? Magnesium, all these different things, right? Electrolytes play a huge part in how efficiently you can get that energy from one part of your body out and exerted through your muscles. So electrolytes can come naturally from something like coconut water. Most people will say it's very high in sugar. Yeah, it's glucose. And if you just did a really hard workout, that's only going to go right back into your muscles. It's not going to get stored as fat and none of that junk. Likewise, if you drink it before a workout, that's going to fuel your muscles to be able to have more energy to output during that event. And this is something we just partnered with, right?
Correct.
Numa. So Numa actually takes a blend of filtered water, coconut water, Himalayan pink sea salt, which is where you get your sodium, and all of those other things, and blends them together into a nice carton that you can drink, different flavors, before your next event. And then you have Noon tablets. These are very simple little tablets. They look like almost like an enlarged sweet tart.
Well said. That's a good analogy.
And you can absolutely just open a bottle of water and chuck that in, and basically now you're turning it into something that might have the same compounds as a coconut water. And those can all help pre-event and during an event. So something like a Noon tablet would be optimal to hold in your pocket maybe, or in a fanny pack, or on a little side pouch. And if you're doing something long distance, Now you can pop that into your water bottle and you can drink that right during the race or right during the event, and that will help with your sustainability and your sustained energy.
Cool. So in review, if you're 2 to 4 weeks out from your event, think about decreasing your processed foods, limit to no alcohol, and then have prepared food, whether it be done by yourself or perhaps a meal delivery service. Now we're getting to that 2 days before your event. Now it's go time. You're 48 hours. Let's talk about the potential for other means of preparing.
Yeah. So once again, those 48 hours, these right here are great tools in that 48-hour mark. But there's other things that you can go above and beyond with, right? Like something maybe like an IV drip. Okay. When you drink something, undoubtedly, percentage of it is going to get lost in filtration, right? So with an IV, the idea is it puts it directly into your bloodstream.
Shuttle right to the system.
And now you are getting something more direct and you're losing less of that. It's getting less diluted. So IV drips are a great idea, maybe within that 48-hour range. You can also just talk about, what kind of event are you doing? Like I mentioned, if you're going for a 60-mile bike ride, you're going to be burning a little more fat, right? Because you're doing a sustained
aerobic pathway.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
doing aerobic pathway.
Exactly. So there is oxygen present. You're going to be basically burning more fat throughout that event. So I would probably gear towards having more fat-heavy foods in that. If I'm doing something that is a little more sprint-based, right? I'm going to go a little bit more carb-heavy.
Right.
And that is going to play
Perhaps
a role.
a gel, something like that.
Exactly. Something a little more sugary, right? Simple sugars get broken down quick. Fruits before are a great option, something like a banana before, right? It has electrolytes,
right.
It has good sugar content. That is something that everybody in the fitness world and sports world knows. If I take that before my event, it's going to go pretty smoothly, and I'm going to prevent myself from maybe getting cramps and something along those lines. So,
okay, Dill, now it's the day of, okay?
Oh.
So let's talk about maybe we're performing at noon. Okay. What am I having for breakfast 4 hours before? I wake up, what are we doing?
Well, before that, the day of always starts the night before. So you need 8 hours of sleep, without a doubt. And if you don't wake up with 8 hours of sleep, you're already not fueling for your next event, right? When you decrease your sleep, you actually wake up a little more hungry. So now you might put yourself in a situation where you're overeating, and now your stomach's not settled, you haven't properly digested food, now you're going into an event with food in your system, and your body's like, well, do I rest and digest, or do I fight and flight? What do I do, right? So get a good night's sleep. First thing in the morning, at least 16 ounces of water immediately on an empty stomach. Don't touch anything else before that, especially not coffee, all right? Coffee's going to dehydrate you after you just laid in bed for 8 hours with no water. Not a good idea. So then I would fuel that, right, that morning. Like I said, I would choose a high quality, easy to digest protein, right? So easier to digest proteins are typically fish and eggs. Okay. Easier on the body.
Right.
Okay.
Less structural
bulk.
breakdown, right?
Yes, less
Which requires more energy to take.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then alongside that, if it's something that is more endurance-based long-term, then I'm going to basically improve my fat intake a little bit more. I'd have more avocados, maybe olives, a little bit more olive oil or avocado oil, or maybe something like...
Any nuts at all?
Yes,
right?
that's what I was looking for, right? Something like almonds or pistachios or macadamia nuts or walnuts, something along those lines. Now, on the other hand, if I'm doing something that is a little more, boom, fast-paced, I'm looking to have more fruit, maybe like an oatmeal, something along those lines with my protein. Maybe like a green smoothie with a little bit of fruit and vegetables involved, because that's going to be easier to digest. And now I'm going to have a little bit more glucose in the system to shuttle that energy to the muscle and give that output. If I'm doing something like DecaFit, it's a good blend of both.
Blend of both, right? And give yourself enough allocated digestion time.
Yes.
Because if the whole idea is that your muscles need energy, but all of your energy is now going to your gut system to digest it and to break all those cells down too soon to your race, then your energy is having this confusion mode. Do my muscles want it, or does my stomach and intestine need it for digestion? So think about your timing.
I was going to say, metabolism literally means how fast do you break down food, right? So if your metabolism is going, it means you're breaking down food, and that requires energy. now you don't have as much resources or energy within your body. It's finite at some extent to go to your muscles and actually output force. So
absolutely. Yeah. So I know personally for me, that 1 to 2 days before the race, I will be doing an IV. I will be getting plenty of sleep. I will completely be flushing myself with plenty of water and then adding some preemptive electrolytes and getting all that going. So that way I know mentally that I came prepared for the event. For any further questions when it comes to nutrition or beyond, never hesitate to reach out to us at Gravity and Oxygen Fitness. Dylan, thank you again for your knowledge and your expertise. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next edition of Turf Talk. We wish you guys a great day. Good energy always wins.
Adios.